Good morning. Our hand today is going to be pocket aces. We're in the cutoff. Folds to us. We open raise. We do have a 20% open raising range here. Probably should be a little bit larger, but it's my open raising range. We get called by both blinds. The one that's relevant is going to be the small blind. I have 8 hands on him. He's playing 29-0. He's throwing the flop 100% of the time. I don't have any stats in turn with regards to c-betting. So all I could do is kind of put together some sort of range like this. Pockets, suited aces are pretty common. Not everyone does that, especially not from the small blind. Small blind could be as they could have gotten rid of all of those suited aces. I think he has some of these suited Broadway hands. I would assume he would 4-bet with those, with queens plus, ace king, and ace queen suited, which leaves the rest of these Broadways to call. I also included the suited connectors. This could be wide, it could be tight, who knows? It's an unknown. So the flop comes out 10-9-4 with 2 clubs. Now he has donked 100%. I don't think this is a board that he's going to donk on. So when he checks, no big surprise. The other guy checks. I went ahead and made a c-bet. I believe this is correct. We do have the ace of clubs here, and he calls. Turns a 5. Still, we got top pair. I think there's a lot of hands that call here. A lot of straight draws that, Jack Queen, 7-8 clubs. So I fired half pot bet. He calls again, and then on the river, the 4 clubs. So the clubs gets there. He checks again, and it's on me. Do I c-bet or do I value bet here? Try to get called by maybe like a 10. 10 jack, maybe he's calling with the 10, ace 10, king 10, queen 10. I don't think king 10 and queen 10 are necessarily in his range. It could be, but you could have jack 10. We're behind 2 pair 10-9, but I kind of think 10-9 is going to show his face. Same thing with trips. I think they would have ended up raising at some point in this hand. I decided to just check behind to get this showdown. So let's check out, see what GTO suggests. We programmed it so villain's going to check, because again, I don't think this is a board that he's going to donk on. It's on us. We should be betting 35% of the time, checking 65% of the time. So we do have a fairly mixed strategy here. Aces are sometimes betting, sometimes calling. It looks like we're leaning more towards betting when we have the ace of clubs, so that's fine. It looks like we are betting, hearts, backdoor, some of our backdoor heart draws. So that's ace 10 with the 10 of hearts. It looks like actually we're betting our club draw more, but our club draw and the non-backdoor flush draw. So I think we're using the suited aces hearts as kind of a backup, protect some of our checks because we could back into it. Ace jack with the clubs, ace of clubs, we're betting. We're definitely going to be betting trip 10s, trip 9s, 2 pair, trip 2s. Looks like pocket 3s we tend to be betting here. So I think our bet's going to be okay. It's going to give us hands. So we did bet, and then villain's going to be calling, and we're going to assume first that he is playing GTO. So we're going to say he calls, and we get to a 5 of spades. Now, with that call, we do expect him to be raising, trips and probably 2 pair coming up. I bet we would expect to raise by 2 pair on the turn. I don't think a call here necessarily means he doesn't have trip 10s or 9s. I think at these lower stakes, players are more willing to, are more apt to check raise on the turn instead of on the flop. But anyways, he does have some weak hands that we definitely beat. So he calls, he checks again to us. Now we're betting 57%. So again, aces seem to be a mixed strategy. Looks like we are betting some of our aces, we're checking some of our aces. We are, I think the breakdown's kind of interesting. So the ace of hearts, if you have the ace of hearts, you tend to be betting more than if you don't have the ace of hearts. So I have, let's say, club and diamond. So club and diamond, GTO is suggesting we do more checking here. And that's probably 66% check, 2/3 check here. I still think we can bet. We still have some bets here. So betting and checking, we're going to be checking, or we're going to be firing, ace 9, ace 10. Looks like ace jack we're firing as bluffs. So almost all of our suited aces looks like we are firing. Some of those are the pairs. Some of them are just, we don't have anything. Ace 4, ace 3 tend to be more checks than bets. And we've got gut shots with those. Our bets would come in form of betting with the club. So you're betting with the gut shot and the club draw. But all the rest, we're just taking that river card. So if we bet the flop, it does look like we are being aggressive and betting the turn. These small cards here, the middle connectors, looks like we are checking and just kind of giving up. 7-6 still has a gut shot. 8-6 still has a gut shot. Balancing those checks with like a hand like aces kind of makes a little bit of sense. All right, so then 4 of clubs. So we bet, and then villain calls, and we get a 4 of clubs. So let's go back and check out what villain looks like. So villain is calling here with, he's got a small number of flush draws, small number of open and straight draws. So I think I was probably overestimating how many flushes and straight draws he has. So he's got a total of maybe 20 combos. But then we have his overpair, top pair, middle pair. That's at about like 16 combos, almost 17 combos. So maybe that's about right, about half and half. Middle pair. If we throw in the weak pair hands too, that adds a lot more combos. So maybe he calls with these, maybe he doesn't. But if he has all of these now, he's got more of these weaker one pair hands than he has the draw type hands. So when we do get to the river and he checks to us, we have to consider what is he going to call with. And in game, I think I'm sure I was considering possibility that if he has all these draws, he's not going to be calling a bet. He's just going to fold them. But if he goes for some sort of bluff here, it's going to really make it hard for me to call. So let's say I bet and then he raises here, yeah, technically I'm supposed to call, but could I really call? I mean, he's going to be raising some of his flushes and then, some ace high if he's balanced. But our players actually balance at this level? Probably not. Not at the small stakes. We would have to see it and then take a note of him. So it does look like once we get here that GTO is saying, yeah, you're going to be betting into this ace of clubs. These aces with the ace of clubs. You're going to be betting the kings. You're going to be betting the queens. The jacks now looks like we're checking more. And I'm sure because we're blocking the jack 10, which was definitely a calling hand in his ranges. So we're betting these overpairs. We're betting king queen. So we busted king queen off, then the king queen of clubs. We're betting these one pair hands. So if we bet, what is he calling with? Well, it has him calling with hands all the way down to with these weaker pairs. So I didn't bet. I checked. We saw a showdown, and he showed 7, so he did have those weaker pairs, which again goes back to here. If he's able to do that, if he's able to call those weaker pairs, now we've just added a huge group of hands to his calling range here. That means he would probably call another river bet. So like miss, so kind of looks like I've missed some value here. Yeah, so we bet, he calls. Once he checks, then it looks like we should be betting here. Now you can see 2 pairs going to be used as a check here. And I think reason with the 2 pairs is we're blocking a lot of hands that would have been calling. So now once you take out 110 and 19, you're reducing the number of combos, top pairs, second pairs that would have been calling all the way, which I think then means that villain probably has one of these draws. So thing we could do with the draws is, well, why bet with these when he's just going to fold? So take the showdown with 2 pair. 2 pair helps protect us, like top pair, middle pair, weak pair. Looks like we're betting those. So those are 7s, 3s. I mean, really small number of combos. Their middle pairs are betting. Ace 9s are betting, but we have the ace of clubs, so we're betting those with the ace of clubs. Because again, we've got the club blocker. It makes it less likely that he's got like a flush draw, or actually has a flush. So, all right. So that's our hand today. I don't think I'm gonna mess with the rivers. I think the rivers were fine because I think we're betting the 5. You know, even if we change that to, let's say, the 5 of clubs, you know, he checks. I still think we bet, especially when we have the ace of clubs. We're going to be playing that aggressively. He calls and then say that's the 2 of spades. He checks to us. We're still going to be betting it. What happens if we like turned an ace? Let's say we turn the ace of diamond. Whoops, ace of spades. He bets. We're still betting. We're betting it even more frequency. So I think having that overcard, we're betting a lot more. Let's do a king of spades. We're betting king. I bet we're doing queen as well. Yeah, we're betting queens. Jacks, I think, is when we start kind of slowing down a little bit. Yep, we're checking more. And the reason we check the jacks is because of that jack 10 hand, queen jack hands that would have been calling on the flop. So you have to be a little bit more careful. So I do think I've got the hand under control. My big question was that river. Should we have bet? And working through it, we could see that he had a lot more of these pairs that could have called another bet on the river than he had on these busted draws or may draws. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this hand. If you did, look tomorrow for another.